Add-on Solutions. Add-on Desire.
Hello viewers, welcome to Addot Solutions Daily News Analysis session. I am Lokesh Pengonda. This session is designed in keeping in mind the needs of aspirants of Union Public Service Commission and Group 1 examinations of various states. First, to begin the discussion, we'll start with a quote. If something is important enough, even if the odds are stacked against you, you should still do it. First article of the discussion is talking about the job problems and the issue of nativism. This article is stating that many states such as Haryana, Andhra Pradesh have brought reservation laws for employment of locals in the private sector. So why are states making reservation policy for locals in the employment? First, it is mainly due to rising unemployment rate. Even before the advent of COVID-19, the unemployment rates in the country has been very huge, and it has reached 6.1%, which is nearly 45-year high in 2019. And in 2020, due to COVID-19 impact and the lockdown which was induced due to COVID-19, many businesses have shut shop, and as a result, many people have lost their livelihood. So, as many people are losing their livelihood, governments of the states are bringing reservation policy. And this article has taken an example of Haryana, which has seen 80% of the women who are willing to work but not able to get work, and also it is stating that more than 50% of the graduates of Haryana are not able to get jobs. So this is the level of unemployment in the state of Haryana, and this is not just limited to Haryana, and even many states in the country are reeling under unemployment issues. So reservation is being brought by the states. So what are the reasons for unemployment in India? First, COVID impact. Second, lack of investments. Third, lack of skilled labor. So these are the main reasons for lack of employment in the states. So we've discussed about the unemployment status of Haryana, and in India we've seen that there is unemployment rate of 6.1% even in 2019, and after COVID-19 the unemployment will surely increase. So unemployment is huge. What would happen if the unemployment is high? It would lead to social revolution, it would lead to subnationalism, it would also lead to demographic disaster in the long term, because as today's youth become old after a few decades, if today's youth are not able to find jobs, they would not be able to earn more. So if they can't earn, they can't save, and in their older ages, it will be difficult for them to live. And also, if the employment rates are low and if the unemployment rates are increasing, people of a particular state will definitely demand jobs in their own state. That is, if I am from Maharashtra and if I am not able to find job, and if I see that people from other states are taking away the jobs of companies offering jobs in Maharashtra, so this would lead to subnationalism and also social revolution. This social revolution occurred when the unemployment rates are high. This is not only a feature of India, it happened in many countries earlier. So as many states are bringing the reservation laws, economists have advised the states to focus on creation of more jobs rather than bringing reservation policy. Because if a particular state, let's say Haryana, brought reservation to the locals, and if a company feels that the locals does not have enough skills, then the company would not invest in Haryana because it knows that it has to employ Haryanis when providing jobs. So it would lead to loss of investments and loss of jobs in future. So economists are advising to focus on more jobs, but the state governments are stating that their options are limited and they have limited powers because firms to invest and to expand require infrastructure. That is, a firm, if it wants to start a new business, it would expect that the government provide 100%, that is continuous, electricity and water supply to its business, and it expects skilled labor in a state because a company cannot run without skilled labor. Also, it would require land at affordable prices to start and to expand. Also, it would look for tax benefits if it wants to start a business. And also, at final, it would look for agglomeration effect. So these are the various factors a company would look for when it wants to start or expand a business. But states has limited powers in most of these. Let's see. To create skilled labor, it would require at least 15 to 20 years of education and skilling people. And this is a long-term process, and the governments which are elected by the people of the state, their tenure is just for 5 years. But for creating skilled labor, they would require at least 10 to 15 years or 15 to 20 years. So it has limited powers in this matter. And to give land at affordable prices, state governments has to reimburse part of the amount the firms want to invest in. But due to COVID and due to increase in fuel prices, the government's revenue has been decreasing because as the fuel prices are increasing, state governments are reducing various taxes they usually levy on the fuels. Now there is low taxes, so low revenue. And due to COVID, many firms have not doing well. As these firms' profit is decreased, the taxes they would pay to states also will decrease. So revenue is decreasing. So the government would not have much resources to provide land at affordable prices to these firms. And also tax benefits has been lost because earlier the state governments used to provide tax reductions and even rebates to firms so that the firms will expand in their own states. But what happened was, after the implementation of GST, the taxation powers on various commodities went to GST Council, and state cannot individually reduce the tax on this commodity. And also, as the prices of corporate tax and income tax are set by the central government, state governments has limited powers to encourage the firms to invest in their particular states. Also, there is a term being used called as agglomeration effect. Let's see, there is a firm called as Big Bazaar, and Big Bazaar have a unit in a state Karnataka. If Big Bazaar wants to invest and if it wants to expand its business, it would, rather than setting up a new firm or a new company at Bihar, it would just add one more unit and it will produce the goods it wants to here, because as there exists a unit already in Karnataka, it would have created supply chain management, and due to existence of supply chain management in the state of Karnataka, it would be easy for Big Bazaar to start producing goods in the same state rather than investing in other state and start from scratch. So this is the agglomeration effect. So what would happen is the states which are prosperous, that is the states which already have numerous firms working in their states, will have more benefits and it would become more prosperous in the long term, whereas states which have till now not able to attract firms will not be able to attract in future also. So these are the various limitations of the state government. But what is happening in foreign countries is, the article have taken an example of the country United States of America, and in USA when Amazon wants to start a new headquarters, that is the second headquarters, various states, cities have approached the firm, and these states and cities have provided, that is they have told the firm that it would provide tax benefits, but this provision of tax benefits cannot be given in India as we've seen earlier because due to GST. So there exists a competition between various states in USA and this competition is missing in India. Also the article is talking about danger of 333. So what is this 333? First three refer to the richest three states, which are Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka. These richest three states are 3 times richer in per capita than the poorest 3 states, which are UP, Bihar and Madhya Pradesh. So 3 richest states have 3 times more per capita income than the 3 poorest states. So what would happen is, even if the states wants to compete, these richest states have more resources and the poorest states cannot compete at equal level with these richest states. So this is a danger the article is talking about. The per capita income, which used to be 1.4 times between the 3 poorest and 3 richest states, this increased 3 times now. So this is clearly an indication of richer states becoming richer and poorer states becoming same or the poorer. So this article is talking about what we need in future if we want to provide for more jobs. It is stating that there is a need for fiscal independence and taxation independence from the center. As if the states have more taxation powers, these can compete with other states and be able to attract new firms, thus new investments and thus new employment opportunities. Also, there is a need for skill development and there is a need for infrastructure development, and also there is a need for ease of doing business. If these factors are addressed properly, there would be increase in investments and jobs. For more information regarding the reservation policy and its impact, visit our 5th March session, that is 5th March news analysis session on the YouTube. Next article, forestalling or preventing a cyber Pearl Harbor. This article is talking about various threats caused by the cyber firms and the cyber attacks and the impact it is having in the last few years on various countries. So this article is stating that as the capacities and capabilities of the countries which are inimical to India are increasing, it is important for India to invest more on its cyber capabilities. It has given an example of Mumbai power outrage. In October 2020, a huge power outrage has happened in Mumbai, and recently it was found out that the cause of the Mumbai power outrage was a cyber firm called as Red Echo. This cyber firm, using the malware, called as ShadowPad, was able to bring down the power system in Mumbai. So there exists a problem in the power sector, in the cyber capabilities of India, and let's look into the various issues related to the cyber attacks. So the cyber attacks can target critical infrastructure other than power, which includes communication, ports, health services. So what would happen is, if the foreign country which is inimical to India is able to target and bring down these sectors, this infrastructure, then the capacity of our country to revert back and to provide a reply to other country will be very less, because if the military and communication systems in India have come down, then the capability of India to attack back and to stop the attacks of the invading country would be severely threatened. So apart from India, this article is stating that many countries have been facing increasing number of cyber attacks. So let's look into this. First, in the recent years, we have seen Western countries being targeted by many firms related to China and even Russia. In the last year, there have been allegations against the China, which stated that vaccine distribution have been targeted by the Chinese supported cyber firms, and they have targeted this for stealing the research and also the access to corporate networks. Using the research data and by able to access to the corporate networks, the Chinese firms have been able to disrupt the supply chain network and disrupt the vaccination process in the Western countries. And in USA in 2021, that is in this year, a Chinese firm called Hafnium has breached and gained access to thousands of computers by using flaws in Microsoft. Many computers have been breached by the Chinese group called as Hafnium, and also this is not just limited to India, China and USA. Even USA, Russia and even Western countries such as Germany actively participate in cyber warfare to attack each other. So cyber arena has become a ground for the countries to target each other. So what's happening in the recent years is sharpening attacks, that is increasing in the number of attacks and the impact of these attacks, because now there is huge planning behind the cyber attacks. Also, the resources to attack various countries' infrastructure has been provided by the states. It is state sponsored, that is the state government has brought many state-owned firms and even recruiting people specially for targeting other countries and cyber warfare. Also, with the use of advanced technology, the countries and the companies are able to target and breach other security infrastructure. So, due to all this, the number of attacks and the impact of attacks has been increasing. The article has given an example on the example. This example is related to the attack on Ukraine's power grid. Ukraine's power grid was hit by the cyber warriors or cyber firms. This Ukraine's power grid, which was brought down, has happened with huge planning, resources and state support. Now, due to increasing capabilities, the cyber attack and cyber espionage can rewrite the histories as a whole. So, what is needed is a country developing in cyber space and be able to not only defend itself but also attack other countries if need arises. This article is stating that India lags behind China. Because this is true, As the growth and GDP of the China has been increasing, the state government of the China has been using these resources for increasing its cyber capabilities, and thus India is lagging behind China. No country is safe. This is in the context that cyber warfare or cyber firms are targeting many countries and many even companies for their own private gain. So no country is safe. So what we have to do is increase our capabilities. This can be understood from USA's recent 10 billion budget for cyber security. So to prevent itself from target cyber attacks and to defend itself and to attack enemies, USA has brought 10 billion budget for cyber security. So what is expected in future? The number of attacks on India is expected to increase because right now there has been increase in demands and increase in decoupling of the economies of India and China. As the economies get decoupled, the integration of these countries will reduce. As the dependence and integration reduces, the number of attacks may increase in future. Also, the antagonism, that is the inimical nature between these countries, will only increase in future because India is growing closer to USA and Western countries, and this is against China's views and this is against Chinese understanding. So, due to all these factors, there is an expected increase in the number of cyber attacks on India. So, what is needed? We would require more amount of resources for improving cyber capabilities, more technology. We should work with like-minded countries such as USA and Western countries. We should also increase our own capabilities in this arena. We should draw a comprehensive cyber strategy so that we can defend ourselves well and also we can plan attacks on others. Our next article is talking about the summit spirit. Recently, what we witnessed is pre-ministerial level summit of the Quad members, and the summit has proved that this grouping is not just a talk shop and it is not just for symbolism because it provided for creation of many initiatives which would be helpful not only for these countries but for the whole world. So what are these initiatives? First, vaccine initiative. This Quad summit has stated that they would make at least 1 billion COVID vaccines by end of 2022. These vaccines will be developed by India's pharmaceutical industry using USA's technology, using Japan's resources, and the vaccine which will be produced will be using Australia's supply chain network to provide this vaccine to Indo-Pacific countries. So, all the 4 countries are doing its part. As we can see here, India is providing pharmaceutical support, USA is providing technology, Japan is providing resources, Australia is providing its supply network. So, all these countries are able to bring in their own resources and able to create something which would be helpful for the whole world. Also in this summit, it was stated that they would create joint working groups. This joint working group will be on technology and also on climate change. Also, in the summit, it was stated that all the 4 countries will work towards reducing their carbon emission and to meet the Paris Climate Accords targets as soon as possible. Also, in the summit, it was reiterated that they would cooperate on technology, supply chains, 5G network, and biotechnology. Also, this summit has seen the first joint declaration of Quad as a whole. So, this is significant in the context of Quad members. So, first, we'll see the importance of Quad and why is it important for various member countries. For USA, it is important as China has been seen as a rising political rival in the Indo-Pacific. And for Australia and Japan, they see that China's rise in military and also in maritime boundary would impact their countries negatively, because they have maritime tensions with China, and also there are tensions with China regarding the trade and telecommunication. And for India, it is significant because it comes in the backdrop of the line of actual control standoff. So for all countries, Quad Summit and the Quad grouping is relevant and is important. But earlier it was stated that Quad's primary objective is to contain China. This summit has proved that this is not true, because in this summit they discussed on various emerging issues, and also the countries stated that they would not reduce and for countries it is important, but it would not only to contain China, because as you can see here, for Australia and Japan, China is the biggest trading partner. For India, relations with China is significant as we have membership in BRICS and South Shanghai Cooperation Organization, which India and China are members. So India have to deal with China in these organizations. So containing China is not the only objective of these countries. Mr. Modi, in fact, has called this grouping as a force for the global good, because they are helping the world in providing vaccinations, and also this grouping will help in broadening the interest of India in the geopolitical arena. So this grouping is significant to India and to other countries. Next, mains practice questions. Quad grouping is not just for containing China. Explain how Quad partners can work for the welfare of the world as a whole. Second question, why is unemployment rising in India? What are the constraints faced by the states for attracting private firms? So, this is the end of the session. Thank you.
Add-on solutions. Add-on desires.